I know you have a family. Tell us a little about your family, like your family Newman. You have some kids and all that.
So I have 4 children. Well,
Okay.
they're not children anymore. But my oldest is 26.
Okay.
So he's 26 years old, an amazing kid.
Okay.
Then I have a 21-year-old. She goes to UC Davis.
Wow.
So she ended up picking up the college,
Yeah.
following.
And nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I always tell my children is either you work or you go to school, you get an education.
Right.
So you can't do nothing.
Yeah.
You have to do something at a young age. They're always taught to do that.
You guys hear that out there? You either work
Yep.
or you get an education. You can't just sit on your butt and play video games.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of, young adults that choose that route.
Yeah.
And because their parents enable them, though, to do
Yeah.
that, right? And then I have a 19-year-old. And he recently just got out of high school,
Okay.
and he's still trying to figure out his way in life.
Yeah.
And it's tough,
Yeah.
when the school's telling you what to do your whole life, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's like, okay, you're being an adult.
Yeah.
Right.
You're
So
like,
it's
what?
like, how do you do that,
Yeah.
right? And then I have a 17-year-old, and her attitude, mentality, I would say that it's like 80% of me.
So that's the little carbon copy.
Yes.
The little boss lady.
Yes. Yeah. So she is 17 years old, and she works with me now. So I've
Works
been,
with you,
yeah,
okay.
I've been pretty much molding
Yeah.
her since she was a baby on everything that I do. So eventually one day, not necessarily her, but somebody could take over the family business.
But she has a choice, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you see her as the one that probably has the most potential to take over the family
Yes.
business.
She's
Yeah.
definitely an entrepreneur mindset.
So that's Boss Lady Junior.
Oh, yes.
She's
we
the
call
boss
her-
baby.
No, we call her the boss.
The
Okay.
boss. Love
There you
that. 17. Okay.
And,
Yes.
and a lot of times I don't know if this is Latin parents or just all parents in general, but they always try to force what worked for them onto their kids.
Correct.
And that's not what you should do, right? Like I learned, obviously I'm not saying my parents were great parents, but a lot of times they say, oh, do this because maybe it worked for them or that's what they
Yes.
think works, but it not always necessarily is going to work for them.
Correct.
But what I hear from you is that you're not forcing your beliefs on them. You're saying,
No.
this is what it takes to be successful. And if you're not going to follow this, and you do this, or
Correct.
you're not going to do nothing, right?
Correct.
But you're not like, oh, I was boss lady, so you have to be in my business,
No,
and
and
you
one
have
of
to
the
do all
things
that.
about being a parent, and I was a young parent,
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, my husband, so we've been married for 27 years.
Wow.
He's an amazing father. He's not an entrepreneur by all means.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for him to adapt into that mentality.
Yeah.
So one of the things about him is that he was able to stay at home while I ran the business.
There you go.
So he was an amazing father. At least he was there for the kids. He was there to make sure to do everything. And he pretty much helps me out around the house. He does, a lot more than probably needs to be done. But with the kids in mind, we've never said anything about, like if they wanted to start a business, you know what, that's amazing. Let's go ahead and find out how we could get that going. We'll support you 100%. Although I knew that it's probably not going to do anything, or I'm sure that we're going to buy you $1,000 worth of stuff and you're never going to do anything.
Right, yeah.
But it's always supporting them and making sure that they have their own mind
Yeah.
and their ways in life.
I love
I
that.
don't want to ever tell them like you need to go into finances,
Yeah.
because what if that's not their passion? I'm going to pretty much make them do something that they're never going to be happy doing.
Yeah. And I appreciate that because, again, I love my parents. They're great parents. But I think a lot of the boomers were trained to kind of force their kids
Yes.
to do whatever they felt was best.
Yes,
And I found myself one day living a life to please my parents,
correct.
not to live the life that pleased me.
Yes.
And that was a very sad, like scary realization.
Right.
And
And you're unhappy.
Yeah,
And
I-
your soul knows
yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
I mean, I'm
Miserable.
I'm really like, not religion, but I'm very spiritual.
me too.
And I always
Yeah.
feel that,
Yeah.
your soul tells you where
Yeah.
you need to be in life.
Yeah.
And if not, your soul will really start haunting you
Yeah.
every single day until you start doing something that you love.
100%.
Yeah, if you don't feel good, you don't feel
Exactly.
good. Yeah.
And it's funny because we do have the guide.
Yes.
Like
Yep,
it's called
your
your
feelings.
intuition. It's like
Yes.
guardian angel,
Yes.
intuition, whatever. And so that's the main purpose of this podcast is I want to inspire people who, like, if you're sitting out there and you're listening to this and you hate what you're doing, and the statistic is 87% of people don't like their job and 10% of
Correct.
people hate their job.
Yes.
So that's 97% of people out there do not like what they're
Right.
doing. So there's a problem.
Yes.
Right. And so our goal is to inspire people, no matter how young, no matter how old. Hopefully someone listens to this podcast and they go, wow, maybe I should start to dig deep and really find what I'm supposed to do and just go do it. It's not going to be easy.
Correct.
Right. But nothing's easy. Right. Like, having a job is hard. Having a business is hard. Being
You'll
broke is
never
hard.
find out
Being
if
rich
you
is
don't
hard.
try.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I appreciate you saying that because, the whole goal is this. And that's why we wanted to have you on. Is because I know that you're following your purpose. Because if you're not, it feels like you're going on a bumpy road. Like you're going against the grain. Like everything is against you.
Yes.
Right. But if you are on your purpose, everything is just like smooth.
Yes.
It's not easy, by the way. There's going to be adversity, but it's a lot easier than, it's like you go from a bumpy road to a paved road. Something like that, right?
Yes.
There's still going to be danger. There's still going to be things you got to worry about.
I'm on a
but
slide now.
there you go.
Slide, cruise control.
So she went off the road. She went on the slide,
Exactly.
right? That's why she bought that house, right? The
Faster.
big old slide, right?
In a Maserati.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.